everybody, my name is Samantha Tabb. This is my Module 4 Special Education Interview Project. The people that I interviewed the principal, Eddie McGee, the special education teacher, Courtney Carter, and then my favorite para, Andrina. So question number 1 talked about child fine. First of all, I did not know what that was. When I interviewed the principal, the special education teacher, and also the para, they had not very much information based off of it. So I went on our website, and the only person that we have at our school would be the school nurse. So she kind of pointed me in the direction. So I'm sorry that I'm going pretty general on this question. The child fine procedures are birth to 5 years. Preschool for that age is a completely different entity at our school. They are included in our school, the festivities and challenges, school pictures, yearbook, and all of that. But they have their own principal. They have their own evaluators. They are there, but they are not there, if that makes sense. We do accept the IEPs on the elementary level that are already in place. And then obviously, if a student is on their radar and they do attend our school, then we will, have them on the radar. Question number 2, what is the most challenging part of their role? So the principal said the most challenging part of the role when it comes to special education is finding highly qualified teachers, special education teachers. Another thing was the implementation of IEPs, and that sometimes it's hard to, because of the lack of experience, the teachers need more support or they need more support. And then obviously what goes along with that is not having the resources necessarily to support general education teachers about IEPs. Other than the special education teachers themselves, but they are so busy with the caseload that we have at our school. They do send snapshots, but they'll help. So the special education teachers' most challenging part was managing the paras, accommodating, and also meeting the standards at the same time. So she talked a lot about it's very hard to justify someone being on grade level when you accommodate so much. So it kind of does have this different balance when it comes to people asking questions and stuff. Also, it is sometimes hard for our special education teacher to create relationships because of personalities sometimes. Obviously, that's in every career field, but she has run into that sometimes. And then also, when it comes to special education, there are so many hands in the pot that sometimes things get misconstrued or there's miscommunication and all of that. Obviously, she said that we all want what's best for the students, but like she said, if there's too many hands in the pot, there's too much going on and it's hard to decipher what is really needed. And then Andrina the para said that her most challenging part of the role is, learning all the accommodations for all of the students that she provides services for, and that also it's hard for her as a para to be respected by the teacher. She is the expert on those students. That is why she was chosen for that job. And she also mentioned, and I thought this was so interesting, that just because she is a para and she doesn't have a college degree in education does not mean that she does not have a college degree, which she does. It's in business, but we are lucky enough to have her as a para at our school. Number 3, what is the most rewarding part of your role? So Mr. McGee said that students, obviously, the growth, and then that when he sees students come off of an IEP, that is so rewarding. When it comes to the teachers and the SPED teachers, he loves when the teachers feel like they have impacted the student learning and that they're actually making a difference, whether they're still on the IEP or not. He loves the feeling of when a teacher's like, yeah, I did that, and I helped them become a better student. When it comes to the parents, I loved this part because I could only imagine how hard that would be, that the parents who are the strongest advocates, and by strong, I mean like push back and, push in and want to ask all these questions, that when those strong advocates start becoming more team members with the school and the teachers and the administrators, it's like they've tested, but all of a sudden they're on the same team because they realize that we really want what's best for their kid. And then the special education teacher, Courtney, said that the growth of the students is rewarding because teachers only have them for the school year. The special education teachers have them for their entire career at the school. So to see that growth is so rewarding for them. When it comes to the parents, when they're supported, they're grateful, and that they realize like a lot of people in our district bring their kids to our school because of our special education program. That makes it very rewarding when parents recommend our school, because Colorado is a choice state. When it comes to teachers, it's very rewarding when you form friendships and you have their support and you learn from them. You want to learn from them, and there is a mutual appreciation. Miss Andrina, the paraprofessional, said that the growth, obviously, not just academically, but also socially. When she sees her students grow socially and academically, she finds that to be extremely rewarding. Number 4, the advice on supervision of staff. So Mr. McGee said that obviously you want to build skill sets in everybody. You want to find what their strengths are and you want to build upon those. Along with that is building trust with everyone, that he wants to push the staff in the SPED department and paraprofessionals and teachers in general to be the best that they can be and that they're performing at their highest level. He also mentioned about how paras are supervised by the SPED team. If he has a concern, he goes to the SPED teacher. If it is an immediate concern, he goes straight to the para and obviously talks to the SPED teacher in the meantime. And that it's important to him that make sure that paperwork is being submitted on time and that it's error-free. Special education teacher says micromanagement is not something that they like. They want respect. Utilize the paras the best that you can, obviously with still going and accommodating and modifying on the IEPs and knowing what the services that the students need to be successful. And that it is important for a principal to know the SPED department. Miss Andrina said that micromanagement is not something that is good to be in a supervisor role. Don't micromanage people. Respect everybody. Trust and honesty. She talked a lot about if you need to have a tough conversation with paras, do it. They want to be the best that they can be. They would not be there if she would hope that they wouldn't be there if they didn't want to be there, that honesty is the key there, and that she would love for the principals to actually know her role. So she talked a lot about the principals not knowing exactly what she does on the daily basis. Like they know, but they've never they've never come in to watch her. They've only evaluated her. The teachers have evaluated her, but they've never actually come to watch what she gets done on a daily basis. She talked a lot about like, I get kicked and I get punched and I get this, and she feels undervalued. And as a future administrator, that doesn't make me feel very happy. So I need to make sure that I keep that in my mind when I'm going into that role. I think about the paras on that level. They want to be evaluated. They want to be better. Number 5, how to work effectively with parents. So Mr. McGee said, obviously you need to build trust, and how you build trust on the surface level there is hiring the right people. Communication. Obviously on both ends, communicating tough situations and all of that, but that most parents, they just want to be heard. They really, really want to be heard. But also as a principal, it is important that you make sure that the teachers know, special education teachers and all of that everybody needs to be communicating. If it's a tough subject, everybody needs to be involved. No one should be left out. And that parents are their child's best advocate, that it is important to make sure that all kids are included. Every single kid needs to be included. Ms. Carter said that daily communication with parents is important. Listening to them, even if you don't necessarily agree with what they're saying, you need to listen because, like Mr. McGee said, and like any teacher will say, I hope, that a parent is a child's best advocate. And that don't always take things personally when parents say things. Miss Andrina said that communication when needed. She said that usually with the communication, the teachers take on the role, whether it's the general education teacher or the special education teacher, that they usually take on that role. But some parents are able to freely talk with parents because they are the ones who are with the child every day, all day in the classroom. So if something's going on at home, Miss Andrina wants to know whether it enables behavior. Like, oh, I bet today when you have a really great day, you get to do X, Y, and Z. It's really important for her to build those relationships with parents so she can talk about that through the day. I thought that was really, really important. Number 6, how to work with the regular education teachers. So the principal, Mr. McGee, said lean on the SPED teachers. Send the teachers, the general education teachers, a IEP snapshot, support them in the classroom when they need help. In turn, he doesn't want to just he does want to rely on the SPED teachers because that is their job, but he also knows that he also needs to follow up with the teachers. Are the teachers following the IEP? What needs do they have? What supports do they have? And then obviously the principals go in and they observe the general education teachers. And of course they look at the SPED kids, but they want to make sure that teachers are following the IEP and they have the resources that they need. So Miss Courtney, sorry, Miss Carter says that her role for the special education teachers is to be helpful, to set up expectations within the classroom and for the IEPs. That she always has an open door policy, so I know that when I need help, I can go to her and she is there to help me. And that her philosophy with this is behaviors are the most important for her students, because if they cannot behave, they are not going to successfully learn. So usually they start off with behavior goals, and then they go into academic goals once they get that, especially with the younger kids, that's where they like to start. And then Miss Andrina says open communication. It's important for the classrooms that she goes into, that the teachers have the expectations and they both talk about the expectations. And that the teachers know that Miss Andrina the para they're working towards the same goal, and that she is obviously there to help her special education kids, but she's going to be helpful. If she sees a kid struggling, she's not just going to sit back and not help them, but that it's important to go back to the expectation. She's here to help her special education kids, but she's also a human being and doesn't want to see kids struggle. Number 7, advice for a first-year administrator. The principal says, you will be tired. You will be learning. You will make mistakes. You should learn from your mistakes, and that you need to find a mentor teacher or someone who's going to provide you with honest perspectives from different areas. And this needs to be as many people as you can find as possible. You don't just need one perspective. You need many perspectives, and you need to learn from your mistakes, because he says you are going to make mistakes. And I love that he was super honest about that. Ms. Carter says that her advice would be to be in the classroom, spend hours in the classrooms, understand the programs that are at your school, and also get to know the students. When a special education student gets sent to the office, you should want to know what's going to trigger them, what's going to stop a behavior. You should know the students before they get there, because they are special, and you just need to know them. You don't want your role as a principal to be something negative in their eyes, because that could also set them off, she said. So Miss Andrina also said that you need to talk to your paras. Do they need support? What can I help you with? Listen to them, but also be a problem solver. Inclusion, include them in things, include them in emails, include them in all these other things. And that there should be perks. Paras should have a computer, because if a teacher isn't here, they should be able to help the guest teacher, and that would be best supporting the special education student, because a lot of the time she talked about how they're like hyperactive. Well, if they're not really getting a brain break all the time, it would be nice for her to have a computer to be able to hook up real quick and do a brain break, and that wouldn't just help the special education students, that would help all students. Question number 8. Description of the role of the special education teacher and the principal. So Mr. McGee said supervising, it's like supervising another teacher, that we need to trust the special education teacher, that they know what they're doing, working on IEP paperwork, free of errors, easily presentable, and it's timely, and that there's a partnership going on. Miss Carter said trust, support, mutual appreciation. And then Miss Andrina said listen and support each other. So there is support going on in almost all of those. Last question is the characteristics of an inspiring administrators. Mr. McGee said growth mindset, seeking things out on their own, because a lot of times you have to find out the information on your own. Ms. Courtney said support, know that the special education teachers, they're experts. You need to have knowledge of the program, and then you need to know when to ask questions. She talked about one time she got bombarded by a principal in front of a student and got questioned in front of the student. She didn't really like that. So just know your role and know your place and know when to ask questions behind the scenes most of the time. And then Miss Andrina said, please be friendly. She sat next to our new principal at the high school the other day, and the principal didn't even know her. So the build relationships and also just be open-minded when it comes to special education. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you have a good night.